Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Today also marked the start of protests across the country to fight the carbon tax increase. It was first introduced in 2007 as a way to discourage greenhouse gas emissions. In 2024 now, its impact is growing and making life less affordable. Our Ben Loan has more.
People lined Highway 16 to protest the carbon tax increase. Lloydminster is one of 18 cities to participate in these demonstrations. The federal carbon tax increased from $65 to $80 per ton, putting gas prices in Lloydminster as high as $1.59 per liter. Inflation and the cost of living has increased in recent years, and the increase in carbon tax is starting to spread people too thin.
It's going to affect my ability to drive anywhere. I like to drive. I'm not going to live in a 15-minute city where I got to take a bus. So yeah, and the price of food is going to be going up higher. We've already got a fuel tax in Alberta, so they're going to be tacking on carbon tax as well.
The federal government plans to increase the carbon tax by $15 per ton through 2030. The city of Lloydminster has called on the government to put a pause on the tax. But with how fast it's increasing, the future generations are already feeling the effects.
I'm a kid. I'm trying to grow up, and I can't afford gas when I turn 16. None of my friends are going to be able to drive. It's ruining our childhoods and ruining our future.
These protests are blocking off one lane of Highway 16. Activist Miranda Courts understands the issues this can cause, but wants people to know that this is for the city.
The inconvenience for an extra 5 or 10 minutes to get through some of the lane closures is not to inconvenience the locals as much as it is to help the locals. I know they don't see it that way sometimes when they're in a hurry. This is a federal problem, and we want this noticed federally, and that's why we've chosen to do this across Canada.
The protest is expecting to go for 3 days, and it will add a 10-minute traffic delay during peak periods. But these protests could keep going longer if insufficient changes are made by the federal government. For Primetime Local News, I'm Ben Loan.
Well, some frightening moments for some Lloydminster homeowners early last Friday. Their home was broken into around 4:30 in the morning on the 29th. Investigators have determined a suspect had entered the home on 30th Street through a bedroom window but ran away when confronted by the homeowners. Extensive patrols were made in the area by RCMP officers, but they did not find the suspect. RCMP are now asking for the public's help in identifying a tall, slender male who was captured on camera. He has a fair complexion and was wearing a puffer jacket. RCMP remind all residents to be vigilant and report any suspicious activities in their area. It is now time to dive into the news archives for this week's edition of Retrospect. Here is our Callan Dunlop.
This week in Retrospect, we go back to April of 1991, where the annual budget gets released and residents in Lloydminster voice their concerns.
Mr. Speaker,
a lot of questions remain unanswered about the tabling of last night's budget, but the fact is some areas will feel a definite pinch, including post-secondary education. The province will chop nearly $8.5 million from financial assistance for students. Greg Parkin is the Student Association president at the Lloyd campus of Lakeland College. He says it will take students longer to finish their courses.
Unfortunately, it's going to mean that instead of students taking a 2-year diploma course, they may have to extend a 2-year course to a 3-year, cut back on the number of courses during a semester, and subsidize by working the amount that they're going to lose because of this cutback from the government.
Women's shelters and family violence prevention will receive about $6.8 million. However, that's an increase of only 3.6%, and for a facility like the Lloyd Interval Home, it simply isn't enough.
I don't think it would even cover the cost of our deficit this year. I think it would mean around $6,000, and it's just not adequate to meet our continued increased costs.
One area that is likely to benefit from the budget is the Lloyd Blue Box program. Environment Minister Ralph Klein's department will receive $6 million, and some of that money will come to the border city. Just how much is not yet known. For most Midwest residents, the Alberta budget means a 35-cent increase in the price of cigarettes, a 2-cent increase per liter at the gasoline pumps, and a further jump in healthcare premiums.
I guess maybe they have to maybe raise, I don't know about the gas prices, but I think maybe the healthcare maybe has got to go a little bit, hasn't it?
Healthcare costs?
No, we need it. We need it. The province was in debt. I just wish they wouldn't spend the money, blow the money the way they do, that's all, on foreign paper mills and gifts to their friends.
I just heard that what they did for Medicare wasn't all that great because they cut back so much, it's going to take a long time to catch up, they say.
I'm moving to the Saskatchewan side. No, I'm serious, like, you don't have to pay for health tax on, like, Saskatchewan side. And as for gas, well, geez, start walking, I guess.
And in late March of 1998, the town of Vermilion elects not to have a tobacco control bylaw.
It was a unanimous decision. The town of Vermilion will not adopt a tobacco control bylaw. Town councillors discussed the proposal last night before voting to explore other options.
Council's view is that there's federal legislation already in place. There's some concern about municipalities now having to take over the law enforcement of what could be perceived as either a federal or provincial responsibility. So I think Council was not comfortable with that role.
Councillor Michaud, along with Councillor Lloyd Seath, have been working with the Tobacco Reduction Committee to try and develop some alternatives.
We can hope that everybody would give up smoking altogether, but I don't think that's very realistic. And so I think what we are proposing is probably the, at least in our view, the most workable possible procedure.
The group responsible for the bylaw is the Vermilion and Area Tobacco Reduction Committee. They're worried about the effects cigarette smoke has, particularly on young children.
Our committee is pleased with the recommendation that Town Council has made. We are very disappointed that they have elected at this time not to consider a tobacco retailer's bylaw. However, they have left the option open that in the future, if there seems to be a need for it, that it can be brought forward again, so that's positive.
Council's decision has put an end to months of discussion here in Vermilion, but around town, reaction to the proposed bylaw has been somewhat mixed.
Inspections of tobacco retailers in the community have found a 100% compliance rate with Health Canada's tobacco legislations. Local businesses feel they're already following the rules and don't need any more.
It would have been some inconvenience to us as far as another bylaw and legislation, but really it wouldn't have affected us that much. It was just that this type of bylaw wasn't necessary, and that's the reason we were opposed to it.
Town residents have also made their feelings be known on the issue.
I would have liked to seen it been passed, but I don't think it would have been a good idea because I don't really think the kids would have followed it anyways.
It was kind of foolish, I guess, because you're always going to have younger kids buying cigarettes.
I would like to have seen something against it a little bit for the sake of the young people, but I'm not prejudiced against anybody. I'm just saying the way I feel about smoking, it's a curse to the human race.
Although the committee did not get exactly what it wanted, it is happy with how things have gone.
It's been positive all along because if nothing else, we've heightened awareness and we've brought the issue to the forefront, and there's been lots of very positive reaction, and anything, you know, our goal is public awareness and education and keep it in the forefront. And I think that we've been able to accomplish that. So.
And that's all for this week in Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consulate.
Thomas Wildman joins me now with the weather. And Thomas, it was sunny and mild today, but boy, that wind was pretty crazy.
Yeah, if you had an umbrella and roller skates, you could have got anywhere in Lloyd without any tries. That's what the best part about the Windy City. But it was a nice warm wind, and actually for the first time in a long time, we're above the usual temperatures for right now, and so hopefully that means that we're we're done with the nasty weather of winter, and we're officially going to get closer and closer to spring here. And maybe some nice rain for our crop producers and farmers, and just in general some moisture to help us out here in the Lakeland area. Taking a look at our almanac for today, our high of 11 degrees was pretty good there, and a low of -2 for today. Usual normals are a high of 6 and a low of -6. And so here we are on April 1st, so no moisture yet, but we'll see if that changes throughout the rest of the month. Taking a look at the current conditions as of right now, 10 degrees with the wind chill, we're down to 6 degrees. There's that northwest 43-kilometer wind right now here in Lloydminster. I'm sure that's going to be very similar elsewhere throughout here. Cold Lake, similar, 39 kilometers with a west-northwest wind. They're 11 degrees, but their wind chill's not as bad. They're still going to be sitting at 11-degree mark. Taking a look now at North Battleford, they're sitting at 8 degrees. With the wind chill, they're getting down to 4 degrees with their 32-kilometer-per-hour wind. And so, nice day here across the central part of Alberta and Saskatchewan. Taking a look at the rest of the central region here, we got Lloydminster, Marwayne, similar to us, at 10 degrees up north. Cold Lake at that 11 mark, as mentioned. Bonneville and St. Paul also at 10. Vegreville and Lac La Biche, similar to Cold Lake at 11 degrees. Edmonton a little bit warmer at 12, as is Provost a bit further down south. Wainwright and Vermilion sitting at that 11 degrees. Taking a look on the Saskatchewan side, all across the colder place in our region right now at 7 degrees. A little bit further south, Pierceland sitting at 11. Then Green Lake, Meadow Lake, and St. Walburg all at 10 degrees. Maidstone a little cooler at 9 degrees, and North Battleford sitting at that 8-degree mark, with Macklin sitting at a nice 12 degrees right now. And taking now a look at tonight's forecast for North Battleford, they're going to be sitting at a low of -6 with some increasing cloudiness, but no chance of precipitation. There's a 0 right there, so that's fantastic for them out in Saskatchewan. Taking a look a little further west at Cold Lake, they're going to be at -2 tonight. Increasing cloudiness, no percent chance of precipitation for them as well. And here in the border city, we'll be taking a look here. -2, very similar to Cold Lake. Increasing cloudiness, a 1% chance. Likely not going to be happening. And so, fantastic little finish for today on a nice start to your week here after Easter. For Tuesday tomorrow, we're going to have a high of 14 as on Wednesday, a low of just +2 on Tuesday, mild with some clouds and sun. Wednesday, it'll be breezy in the afternoon, and a low of -1. And then Thursday, some exciting things, rain and or snow showers. And 91% for that, 5 degrees as the high on Thursday with a low of -1. It'll be a bit cooler that day. But that will do it for our first look at the weather forecast. We'll have some more news headlines coming up after the break.
Well, El Nino brought less snow and made for an incredibly mild winter. The lack of moisture that has resulted has farmers across the region concerned that another tough growing season will take place this spring and summer. Our Thomas Wildman has more.
Today I'm joined by John Locke from Locke Farms. They operate just outside of Macklin, just a little bit north of there, and he's here today to talk to us about the low moisture levels that we've been experiencing all this winter and how it's going to be affecting crop producers in the general Lakeland area here. And so thank you so much for being with me today, John.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, John. So as mentioned, we've had very little snow throughout the whole year, and especially coming off of last year where it certainly was a low moisture year again. Just how important is this low amount of moisture for the upcoming growing season coming up this spring and summer?
Well, it's one of those old things that you always need to have moisture in the spring, and having next to none this winter, it's very concerning. We've been in this situation for, realistically the last 3 years, and hopefully it gets a lot better. But we didn't get the runoff that we're hoping for this winter, so hopefully, March winds and April showers bring on May flowers. So let's hope for some showers here in April.
And we of course want the moisture for all crops, but there are some crops that particularly like to have that good snow cover throughout the winter and to help them be as well set up for the spring. So just how will that affect some of the more specific crops with how poor the moisture has been this winter?
Oh yeah, you know, you can go right from the big one on the block right now, canola. You'd like to be putting it into a nice warm, wet seed bed. Uh, Hopefully, we can get something. Any bit of moisture right now will get everything going and be able to start. Same with all your cereals, wheat, barley, oats. Same thing. They definitely would like to have a nice, warm, wet seed bed. Some of the drier crops, I guess, you know, lentils maybe are a little bit more susceptible to drought or drier conditions, but still, even them, you need to have moisture to get everything going here in the spring. And on the cattle side of things, um, the pasture and the haylands definitely need to get a good start with some shower and some rain. And without any snow cover and the runoff here, it's it's concerning. But like I said, we're always one shower away from a big one. So
And you mentioned cattle and how important it is for hay and whatnot, but also how important the moisture is for replenishing dugouts and other water reserves in order to best water cattle as well. And so, just how important that will be in some of the challenges that it will bring if we don't get more moisture coming up this spring.
oh, very much so. Well, a lot of the pastures in our area are dugout watered. There's a few artesian wells in our area, but you know, there's not as many of them, or places where you can water cattle in sloughs or lakes. But for the most part, it is dugouts that do the pastures, and for us at least, the odd well and as well. But uh, yeah, the runoff after the last couple of years of being dry, the dugouts definitely took a hit, and the a little bit of runoff that we did get, we caught, but it still probably won't be enough unless we can get a substantial amount of rain here in the spring here coming up shortly. So
And then finally, John, if this moisture level sticks around, what are some of the things that you at your farm are going to do and some of the other producers to best make the crop look as good as possible and hopefully hope for a better year maybe in the future?
well, you know, if you can just get out in front of it and get some weed management, for us is kind of a key around our place. As long as the weeds aren't out there robbing your soil of the moisture, the little bit of moisture that is there, that's always a good help. Try not to disturb the soil is another one that we like to do around our place as well. Prior to seeding, try not to do any disking or harrowing or anything like that. That's going to break that ground open and let any of the moisture out of the soil escape. So those are a few things that we kind of do around here, and hope to preserve as much moisture as we can in that soil.
All right, perfect. Thank you for all the information, John, and hopefully for you as well as all of our producers throughout all of Alberta and Saskatchewan, we can see some good rains and have a very bountiful harvest for the 2024 season.
For sure, yeah, that's we're farmers. We're eternal optimists. It's always going to be better next year, and we're always constantly one shower away from a big one. So it's always good to be in this industry. That's for sure.
Time now to take a look at all of the pet pictures you've been sharing with us for our Pets of the Day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
Joining with us today is Edina Banuel, the organizer for the upcoming basketball camp this Wednesday, to tell us more details about the event. Thank you so much, Edina, for joining with us.
Yes.
So this basketball camp, can you tell us how this event came into place?
Yeah, about last year, I brought the Philippine national basketball team here. They played with our local basketball players here in Lloydminster. And then we have, before the game, we have the, what you call the training for the kids. And there we have lots of signed up kids. So we plan that we will gonna do another basketball camp. So right now.
Now you said you've done this last year with a different team and different coach, and I'm assuming this is the second time you've done this event?
The second time. The first time is just what you call that? There's a thing to call that basketball clinic. That's a basketball clinic, and then that's the thing that we plan that maybe we will gonna do basketball camp so that it more focuses on the training itself.
Are there some players or coaches that some Filipinos know that will come to the event?
Yeah, there is. He's a coach, Willie Miller from Basketball Association in the Philippines. So he will be coaching the kids.
Now, Edina, I just want to ask, why is it important to have this type of basketball camp for kids?
Yeah, this is very important to our kids right now because right now a lot of our kids they are on their gadgets and their cell phones and everything like that. So I think this is the better way, or this is a better break for the kids.
Is there anything that you want to add regarding for this basketball camp this coming Wednesday?
Yeah, I would like to just invite all the kids to come and join to learn the basketball techniques and so on. So
Thank you so much, Edina, for giving us information and insight for this upcoming event this Wednesday. Hopefully, kids will enjoy playing basketball, and I hope that more kids will be eager to play basketball soon.
thank you so much.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
I am speaking with Mayor Craig Copeland from Cold Lake today. And Craig, it seems that there is a move afoot to maybe have the administration look at some changes to the city's smoking bylaw to allow smudging. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so we've had actually a few requests that certain buildings, that the city owns, for the ability to do smudging at ceremonies. So, we didn't have it in our smoking bylaw, so we're introducing it in our smoking bylaws to allow smudging when various groups are wanting it. We just need to, work with them on certain things like shutting off the fire alarms and all that, but. Yeah, so it's going to move forward.
All right. So has the actual piece of legislation been written or the amendment been written and gotten approval yet?
Yeah, we're going to move it forward, and we're allowed it now. And so, we have a lot of requests at certain times of the year to use like the big hockey rinks for big events, and then also at the FCSS building. We have a lot of groups that use it, the small meeting rooms. So the ability to smudge the meeting and that, we get probably a handful of requests a year. And so now we have it in our bylaw, and away we go.
Is this an attempt, I guess, at reconciliation with our Indigenous groups in the area?
Yeah, we want to work with the Indigenous community, right? So we just want to make it where it's permitted, right? So we just had to do some housekeeping, and of course, everybody wants to move forward and work on the reconciliation. So we have quite a few nations around Cold Lake. Certainly, Cold Lake First Nations are the largest, and sometimes they're holding meetings where the Cold Lake First Nations are there, and that request comes up. So now we're just we have it in our bylaw. and just follow the protocol, and we should be good.
All right, so where can people find the details of that protocol?
Well, it's pretty easy. If they want to book the facilities for the city and they want to say they want to do smudging, well, then the city staff will just give that to the various groups that want to hold their meetings, or sometimes book the field house or the hockey arenas, and they'll just work with the city staff. And the staff will give them the policy.
All right. Well, thank you very much for shedding some light on that for me, Craig. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And so we'll just take a quick look here at the upcoming few days here. And of course, you can all take a look at the 7-day forecast here. Tuesday, we're going to have a high of 14 for tomorrow and a low of 2. It's going to get a little bit cooler as in the evening on Wednesday, a little bit cloudy and breezy in the afternoon there with a low of -1. Then Thursday, a 91% chance of snow or rain showers and a high of 5 degrees.
Does look like that's going to be briefly lived. Nobody's won Saturday night's Powerball draw in the United States, sending the jackpot up to nearly $1 billion. While no one won the big jackpot on the weekend, at least 4 people matched numbers to win $1 million. The next draw is estimated to win someone $975 million, with a cash value of $471 million. Saturday marked 38 consecutive drawings without a winner. Well, I certainly think that's a lot of money to win, but too bad we can't buy those tickets up here.
Oh yeah, $1 billion. You know what that can buy you? A lot of land. All the crop producers who are very sad about how much moisture, they could just buy the land where there is moisture. It would be fantastic.
Right, different parts of the country, and they could rotate. All right, that's all that we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening.